asshole of today.
Benjamin Shapiro.
Yes, so
is our asshole of today.
Ben Shapiro he's doing movies now. The Daily Wire is putting movies out, and they're really terrible. The trailers.
I said certified freak 7 days a week.
Here we go. The trailers for these films that they're putting out are
this prime cinema.
Yeah, they're horrifying. And so the latest one, they're going into comedy now because
Hop on top, I want to ride. I do a kegel while it's inside.
When you think of comedians, you think the best ones are like conservatives.
Extra large and extra hard.
What are some of their names? What's the short guy's name who is
Ben
in
Shapiro?
Adam Sandler movies?
Oh, Paul Schneider.
Paul Schneider, okay, great comedian, right?
Is it Paul Schneider?
That doesn't sound right.
Is it John Schneider?
That doesn't sound right.
It's something Schneider.
Adam Sandler guy.
Yeah.
There's
Rob Schneider.
Rob
Schneider.
Yeah.
What a fucking forgettable douche.
Okay. No. So who are the other conservative comedians that are very good at their jobs? Who's the one? Jim Brewer.
The guy who just makes faces and acts like an asshole.
He just does like chicken noises or something on stage. That's what I think of him.
Wet ass P word.
So they're now doing comedy, and their latest comedy film is, I think, called Lady Ballers.
There's some whores in this house.
And it is a movie about men who pose as women and enter women's sports in order to win at women's sports. Right. And so this is something that they accuse.
Hilarious premise.
It sounds great. So this is something that they accuse people of doing, right? They have made this one of their primetime positions. They talk about it all the time, that there's going to be people that say, I'm trans and I want to enter into this contest so that they can win awards. They're very worried about this. They think it's really happening. It's a serious problem.
That men, people like me, will upend their entire life to transition to become a female just so they can win a race or play on a basketball team.
Yes. And apparently they don't even believe this because Ben Shapiro was interviewing, I guess, the guy behind this movie.
The co-founder of Daily Wire is who the guy is. Jeremy Boring is his name. Yeah, I know the cast of characters. We did a video about it.
Now, is his name really Jeremy Boring?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So,
and he is, as his name suggests, kind of a boring douche.
Okay, so Ben Shapiro really reveals the truth behind all of this, which is that these conservatives don't actually believe what they're saying.
Let's go back to the inception of this idea. So you approached me and you said we should make a fictional film about this topic. Now, to be fair, I think I'd actually suggested to the Grain Boys that they do this as a doc.
Yes.
I originally went to them and I said, you guys should go try out for a bunch of ladies' leagues. And that became not possible because, as it turns out, most ladies' leagues don't allow in actual men. And they weren't willing to go the full distance in terms of what it would require in order to, the actual hormone treatments and everything to play in some of the ladies' leagues. But in any case, it turned into this. So explain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So wait. There are rules and there's a process, and you have to actually go through a process in your transition before you're allowed to be on the team. Ben, is that what you're saying? Are you saying that they don't actually let men play on the team? Is that what you're actually saying?
There has to be a certain number of months that go by where you're on hormone therapy, an amount of time that certainly diminishes the density of muscle and this is beautiful because he has just outed himself, stepped upon his own tiny little dick and terrible arguments, and really outed himself just as a dirty, filthy, anti-LGBTQ bigot.
Yeah, he's saying, I actually wanted to make this a documentary. I wanted to do a documentary where men go and play on women's sports and take the awards, but it's not really a real thing. So we had to make it a movie. I mean, that's what he just said.
We had to make it a comedy because the reality of the situation is completely different than the narrative that we spin on a daily basis, beating a drum constantly in attacks against the trans community.
So as long as these people are aware that they're living in a fantasy and that the things that keep them up at night are not actually happening, I guess that's good that they're finally starting to be honest with themselves and with their audience.
Gross freaks.
P word is female genitalia.
At least you know that, Ben. That's good to know. Listen, we're going to leave you there. We would invite your participation in these conversations.
I feel like a little bit we need the disclaimer. Maybe. I don't know.
You like the disclaimer?
It's always a good cover, I think. Just
the views and opinions of Jesse Dollemore are solely those of Jesse Dollemore and do not reflect the views and opinions of Brittany Page, who is a far superior person and much more measured and reasonable in her views and analysis.
There you go. There's the disclaimer.
It's just always a good reminder that I would phrase things differently. That's all.
That's all the fuck we need.
I will go back into leaving the phone number. Listen, I love dropping the disclaimer.
It's just always a good thing to have.
Maybe the disclaimer should be the intro of the show. Maybe that's where we're transitioning.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things I want to say about Ben Shapiro that I'm not saying. Mm-hmm. That we'd need we need a disclaimer on top of the disclaimer, like an extra layer of protection for the wonderful Brittany Page, who doesn't want to be associated with the maniacal nature and name-calling of Jesse Dollemore.
It's not associated, it's just distanced from.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. We would invite your participation in this conversation. How radical am I? And
Come on.
How
you're setting yourself
no,
up
I'm not.
to get all the love-ins.
Listen, I'm the one who suggested we have a disclaimer. Because you are more metered and reasonable all the time. This is not some play for sympathy. I do get radical. I get angry, and I express it in a way that is far more immature than you do.
All right, proceed.
This is not a play for. Don't comment about how great I am, because I'm not. I am an undisciplined little piggy constantly.
Alrighty.
657-464-7609. Of course, you can email a voice memo from your smartphone or a regular old-fashioned email to idoubitit@dollemore.com. We would invite you, we would encourage you to look into becoming a patron on Patreon, helping support and produce this content. You can go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Take part there. We would invite you to join the Patreon family. We love and appreciate you, and we will see you next time on episode 896. For Brittany Page, I am Jesse Dollemore, and this has been I Doubt It.